Welcome back to Learning Left-Handed. Today we are doing 3 more parts of your amazing and my favourite podcast going. This first part is called Setting Effective Goals. Alright, this is what I'm going to do. There's 3 bullet points for this, so hold on. Let's begin. The first point, you've got to recognise the work of procrastinating. Okay, there is no path in life that requires no effort. Everything that you'll ever do requires some level of effort. Just understand that and remember that. 2. Freely choose the entire goal. Okay, when you are going for this goal, I want you to think to yourself, I freely choose to work on X. Whatever that thing is, that's the way you say it. I freely choose to work on this. I will work on this. It's very important that you freely choose all the work involved in reaching that goal, because it makes it feel in your mind like, you know what, I've chose to do this, so this is what I'm going to have to do. Remember that. And then you've got to follow that up with one of the favourite things of this podcast, which is the grandma principle, aka do the worst first, because that just equals far better management, and it just, at the end of the day, you'd rather get the worst thing out of the way. At least that's in my humble opinion. Okay? And there's a final point, create functional, observable goals, aka a realistic goal. For example, I will lose 10 pounds by Christmas by exercising 30 minutes a day and removing 300 calories a day from my food. Okay, you got to be specific. The more specific you are, the more realistic this goal will be for you. If you leave any ambiguity into it, you'll be thinking to yourself, well, I don't really want to do this. Maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe I can't be bothered to do this. In my opinion, just do it. Just follow those 3 points I've just said, and honestly, you'll go very far. Okay, that's been part 1. And now, part 2. Happiness chemicals and how to hack them. Okay, these are going to give you the 4 main happiness chemicals that are in your brain, and basically what you need to do to get each and every one of them. I highly suggest that you hit all 4 of them every single day for that happy, great start of your life. You know, every day should be filled with happiness. Am I right, people? You should be laughing every day. You should be socialising every day. You should be getting some sunshine every day. Okay, let's begin with the old-fashioned dopamine, aka the reward chemical. Now, there's going to be 4 parts for this one. First one is eating. So have you ever felt good after a good meal? That's dopamine hitting your brain saying you have enjoyed this meal. Then it's amazing. Second, achieving a goal. Okay, if you had that goal out there for a while that you've been working hard on, and it's just you're getting closer and closer, when you finally do it, you feel ecstatic. So, that's what dopamine is. There's a couple more. Similar to the last one, achieving a goal is complete a task. Just saying that doesn't take you long to do, but you feel good afterwards. You've brought the shopping in, you've put it away. Yes, you've completed that task. And finally, self-care activities. For men, shaving, or women as well, shaving, or getting your hair cut, or brushing your teeth. All of those things will provide just a little bit of dopamine to make you feel good about doing it. Okay, next we have endorphins, aka the painkiller. Some people say that thanks to endorphins they've been given super strength in certain moments. If you don't believe that, I suggest googling mums picking up helicopters and things like that. It's amazing how they're just a super strength of these endorphins. Just painkiller. Okay, first things first is exercise. Okay, if you feel good after you're exercising, you've only got a few people, but that is the endorphins running. It's like going on a roller coaster, you know? You feel fear, but it's good. Next is listening to music. When you're jamming out to your favourite tunes, generally while exercising, you get that double endorphin boost. Exactly. Now, third, is watching a movie. This can be any movie, but it just makes you feel good. Those endorphins rising, especially when it's an action film or a horror, thriller, anything like that. Anything with some sort of danger in it will make you feel alive. And finally, and this is something we should do every day, is laughing. Everybody should laugh at least a dozen times a day. So, if you don't think you can do 12, watch a half hour of comedy, listen to a comedy podcast, just listen to me. I'm funny. What can I say? You're enjoying it. Laughter. Thirdly, oxytocin, the love hormone. Okay, it's what you feel when you're in love. Isn't that nice? Okay, there's 4 different ways of getting oxytocin. Socialising with people makes you feel good. You've just chatted to someone you enjoy talking to, getting that little oxytocin push. Physical touch, because everyone loves a hug. You know those little butterfly feelings you feel after a hug? That's oxytocin. Petting animals, because I'm not going to lie, everyone loves petting a cute little animal. I'm currently surrounded by dogs, and honestly, I'm pretty happy about that. And finally, helping others. Probably the least out of the 4 when it comes to oxytocin. But hey, if you can help others, well, it's going to make the world a slightly better place, so I recommend doing it. And finally, the 4th happiness chemical. So far we've had dopamine, endorphins, oxytocin, and now we have serotonin, aka the mood chemical. You get mostly you get this through sun exposure, mindfulness, being out in nature, which as I suppose is part of sun exposure. I recommend doing it. And finally, meditation, because at the end of the day, who doesn't like to meditate? Just empty the mind for 5 seconds, 5 minutes, 5 hours. It's doing good for your body. I highly recommend it. And for our final part today, we'll be going back to the always popular TikTok tips. Okay, these are several TikToks that I have been sent or have found in the last week. We have whittled them down to the best just for you guys, because you know how much I like you all. There's going to be 5 of them today. I hope you enjoy each and every one of them. Okay, the first one, 5 skills to make your first 10k a month. These are going to be web design, because I'm not going to lie, every company out there needs a website, and if you know how to design them or know how to use a particular program very well, they're going to pay you all the big bucks. Second, lead generation. If you can get people to go in a certain way to a certain website, you can make money. I like to call it sheep herding. That's my opinion. Third, what I do, copywriting. If you think about any single advert out there, any bit of written work that's to do with advertising, a copywriter has done it. Next, media buying. Not 100% sure how that's going to make you the most money, because I think you'll be needing to work with other people to do this, but hey, if you can do it, do it. And finally, there's always the famous sales. High ticket sales in particular. If you can sell expensive stuff, but obviously you'll need expensive stuff to start off with. Next, this is a slightly different and more of a relaxed thing. This is for the men out there, I suppose for the women as well, but I have written this as if I was sending it to myself back when I turned 20. Okay, so many moons ago. 7 movies every man needs to watch in his 20s. There's going to be 7 movies, and I'm going to tell you for each a reason why. The Dead Poets Society, because the legend that was Robin Williams needs to be understood and enjoyed, and you need to seize the day and live life to the fullest. Second, slightly different than Dead Poets Society, which is Fight Club. It reconnects you with your primal caged man and to do the things you have always wanted to do in life. Third, Train Spotting. Pleasure is not always a good thing, and pain is not always a bad thing. Fourth, Gladiator. Life lessons that will show you how to be a grounded man. You can't lie with that. Number 5, No Country for Old Men, which is full of life lessons. I highly recommend watching that. 6, Boyhood. That's what I need to say about that movie. Just watch it. And finally, There Will Be Blood. Is to they understand that you need to accept nuance, refuse reactionary nature, to embrace and to contemplate before you condemn. I honestly think they're all great movies. Definitely go out and check them out. Okay, now this little video we found was asking millionaires the best industry to get rich. Most of them said real estate when it comes to multifamily investment sales, aka a block of flats or apartments, as our American friends like to call it. Apart from that, they said to get into crypto, which, is dying a death, a slow death, but hey, it's still dying. And to get into AI, because it is the future and it will replace a lot of people's jobs. Okay, next one. How to learn a 10k skill. We said the skills you needed to learn before. Here's how you're actually going to do it. In less than a month. It could be email marketing, lead generation, sales. Basically, research it on YouTube and Google for about 30 hours, okay? So you have a really good knowledge of what it is. And then you're going to pick a niche within each thing. So if you're doing sales and you really want to be good at petrochemical sales, so you know how to sell what petrol is, benzene and all the other different chemicals out there, that's your niche. Then you're going to send 100 emails to people who work in that niche, okay? Then you're going to work for them for free. So you get results for one case study. So you've done it once for free for someone, and you're going to use that case study to show to people, look, this is what I can do. How much are you going to pay me for it? Exactly. Keep that on your mind. And finally, for all our boring business fans out there, the people who enjoy little businesses that aren't that interesting, require little maintenance, and are just generally very useful. It's basically just to buy an ice vending machine, because all you're going to need is a big tank full of water, a little bit of power, and that's it, and the machine. That is all you are going to need. I highly recommend it because it's boring, easy. All you've got to do is empty it every couple of days, or even better, you can put the little credit card thing on there, and there you go. You will never have to empty it. All you'll have to do is refill the water. I hope you've enjoyed this week, and as always, thank you for learning left-handed. And welcome back to Learning Left-handed. I just want to thank everybody for continually listening and enjoying my podcast. Without further ado, let's begin. Today, our first part of 3 parts, as we've been doing in this series, is that how to improve productivity. Okay, I'm going to give you 6 different points. These are going to be from the point of view of the boss and the underling. Okay, you may choose whichever is better for you. Number 1, state your priorities clearly. Say which work is priority and cut down on emergencies. Basically, if you're giving people several bits of work at once and say, I want you to do this one first, the one marked in red is to be drop everything else, do it now. Have a colour-coded system that would help, being black, red, yellow and green. Black meaning right now, red meaning priority of the day, yellow means over the greens, and the greens just when you've got time. Okay, second point, be decisive. Consider your decisions and stand by them. If you don't know what to do next, then make your subordinates think about it, because you never know. Some people think very different than you do. They might come up with something that you haven't even begun to think about. Third, be fair and frequent with rewards. Use sub goals and sub deadlines. Basically, you have a big deadline for the whole thing, but you want to do part 1 by the 7th, and if they do that, brilliant, they get a reward, cha-ching. And just do things like that, because that way you will get more hard-working people in your team, and they'll be more like, yes, I want this little sub-reward, whatever it will be. It will obviously depend where your office is. Use meetings for praise and help. aka praise the people who have been doing good and help the people that aren't doing so good. And it's the best thing to, instead of just saying you're doing it wrong, no, you say, look, this is what we're going to do. Okay, you haven't been doing it the correct way. We're going to show you a better way that will help you do it quicker, or some equivalent, or better. Or you guys can work out the jargon better than I can, of course. Number 4, give constructive feedback. Okay, don't nag. Don't just say, "Oh, you're doing this wrong." I want you to explain to the person, "Alright, I can see where you're coming from, but I'd like you to do it like this, please." Or some equivalent of that. You guys know the jargon better than I do. And number 5, use the reverse calendar. Okay, you're going to work from it says, alright, it's got to be done by this day. So that means 2 days before, you're going to want the final run through, or like the day before. Before that, you're going to want to see what part the last parts are shaping up. Before that, the first parts. And before that, you're going to have like a general overview day. Okay? And finally, this is going to be my favourite part of this entire part. I want you to get all the procrastinators together and just say this phrase: "I'm not as good as you are with all the excitement of last minute preparations. It will blow their tiny, underworked minds." Anyway, I've hoped you've enjoyed this part. Part 2 coming up. And now we have the second part. There's going to be a series of things that you guys are going to do just to start practicing today to improve your life. So here's the list of things to start practicing today to improve your life. Let's begin. Number 1, get to know your interest. And I don't mean having to know every single tiny facet of what excites you or interests you. Just try and learn a little bit more, and honestly, you'll feel that happiness and it'll improve your life. I'm not going to lie. Second, state your goals and your ambitions. Personally, I write them down every week. Just refocuses me, makes me think, okay, this is what I'm going to do this week, so I am one step closer to my goals and to my ambitions. Number 3, now this one, honestly, more people need to do, because we have to live with this thing for our entire lives. Okay, you need to take care of that body. Say every once in a while, you know what, I'm going to have a salad. That's all I'm saying. 4, love and accept people and yourself. You need to understand that, yeah, you're never going to be perfect. You can always get better, don't get me wrong there, but you'll have to accept that at a certain point, you're just going to be as amazing as possible. And that's when you get other people to say that to you. Number 5, plan ahead. Don't have everything happening at the last moment. Me personally, I like to plan ahead when it comes to holidays, so I have some ideas of what things we should try. We should go and see this, that and the other. Number 6, stay focused. Focused on one of your goals or ambitions, as I said before, and keep moving forward. Number 7, another one of this take care of your body malarkey. Exercise regularly. When I say regularly, I don't mean you have to do a 4-hour gym session every single day, but hey, if you do 30 minutes every day, that's all you need. 30 minutes to an hour, go for it. Number 8, now this one's going to hit you guys hard because it is a nigh on impossible thing to do. Because you never really can do this, you just stop thinking about it. It's let go of the past. Because in reality, no one cares. So don't worry about it. Number 9, pay attention to your health, because you're the only one who's going to give a damn. Number 10, learn to forgive. Now this is a difficult one for a lot of people, because they still believe they're right after an argument, or they're still right after certain things have happened. But if you learn to forgive, you'll learn to forget. That's all I'm going to say. The next one, spend time with the right people. Someone once told me that the difference between being successful and not successful is the people you are spending time with. Because those people will affect your decisions in future. In my opinion, choose the right people. And the next one, add fun and relaxation to your schedule. Every day I want you to add half hour of relaxation and half hour of fun. Doesn't matter what the fun is, could be gaming, could be chatting, could be playing cards, for all I care. Just make sure you stick it in your schedule, because otherwise you're going to burn out. And no one wants that. No one wants that at all. Okay, number 13, practice more. Okay, if you think you're good at a skill, keep putting some more practice in it. Who knows, you might be able to make some money out of it one day. 14. Now this is a very important one for the people who have struggled to remain happy. You have to cherish your happiness. That's all I'm going to say. Number 15. Try your best to stay positive. Because when you stay positive, the world just looks that little easier to deal with. Number 16. Don't ever give up. Because if you give up, well, you're just letting yourself down. Number 17. Take the right decisions. Okay, think to yourself, well, is this the right decision for this situation? You know, it's quite obvious. Number 18, every once in a while take a risk, because life is incredibly boring if you don't take a risk every once in a while. Number 19, try and be as self-reliant as possible. I'm looking at all you people who can't do DIY, who can't cook, who can't clean. I abhor the lot of you, because you can learn all these things on YouTube for free. That's all I'm saying. Number 20, do some investing. Just try a little. At first you got to say to yourself, okay, I'm going to put 50 quid into investing, and I want you to tell yourself, I've just lost 50 quid. Okay, because you're going to be learning about investing, and it's not the easiest thing in the world to do first time. So you're going to have to take a few pitfalls to understand different parts of the market and so forth. Just be aware, investing has risks. Next, maintain good relationships. Sometimes you feel that you can't be bothered to that friend you haven't spoken to in a while, but honestly, you'll feel so much better after you do, especially if you're choosing the right type of friends. Seek guidance and counselling when you're stuck, aka when you can't do something after trying to do some research. Find some people who are experts in that field or just better than you, and give them a call. And honestly, find these people in life, because you'll never know when you might need them. Next, make good use of opportunities. Opportunities don't always fall in your lap, but when they do, hold on to them, because they're bloody rare. Number 25. Make use of your time. I'm not saying you have to schedule your life to the limit, but just schedule it enough. Find that happy balance. Number 26. Be honest. Doesn't always work, but it's a good way of life. Yeah, I can understand this point. Number 27. Not to be biblical, but do not judge unless ye be judged, because only the perfect person can throw the first stone. And these two are the last. Number 28, go to bed early, because everybody needs more sleep at the end of the day. And finally, make time for your partner, because you guys at the end of the day are partners, and you guys need to stick together, because unless outside of the Mormons, that's the only person you're going to get. That's been the end of part 2. Thank you for listening. And welcome back to our third and final part of this week. This is going to be a new series called Passive Income Online. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do 1 week, I'm going to do TikTok, and this every other week, the Passive Income Online. So this week we're going to talk about 2 different ways that you can make money online, and then several subdivisions of each one of them, so which are going to be graphic design and income from ads. The first one is graphic design that we can talk about, is printables, aka things that people like to print that are calendars or just to-do list, cute to-do list. People seem to buy them a lot, weirdly. Infographics, because every company seems to want infographics of other companies made for them to make their life easier, or based on their own companies. Works as well. Podcast covers, I'm always looking for someone who wants to do that job for me, because it's not fun, for me anyway. One of the latest things I've seen is people are making original fonts. Like they've given up on Times New Roman and the 76,000 other ones. They've decided to make their own ones. So good luck to you for that. I recommend that one. Digital and clip art, always popular, been around forever. 3D models and rendering, I suggest that you do a few hours or on any of these. I suggest you put in a good 10 to 30 hours of practice before you try and sell it to someone. 3D models and rendering, you'll need specific software for it, but I recommend trying it. Adult colouring pages and books, I think anyone can make money doing this. You just got to sink a few hours into it, and then people are going to start buying things from you, especially them. Architectural plans are always big, because they might not work, but people seem to buy them. Board game printouts. If you've got an idea for a board game and don't want to sell it to Hasbro or any of the other big people, you can just design it, put it on the internet, sell it for 99p, and there you go. Bing bang boom. And finally, building plans, which is different than an architectural plan, because an architectural plan is face down and building plans is face up, so I've been told. Okay, let's go on to income from ads. These are anywhere from DIY vids, like do-it-yourself vids, that can include cartoons or videos for audiobooks. Foreign language lessons are very big right now. Definitely get hold of that if you know more than one language. Pop kids songs, because everyone loved Baby Shark. That went massive for a couple of weeks. Made loads of money for those people. And finally, just tutorials, because everyone loves a tutorial these days. Well, thank you very much for listening to this amazing podcast. This has been episode 27. When I started this, I didn't think I'd be getting more than 10 to 12, but you guys keep loving it and I highly appreciate it. So thank you for learning left-handed.
And welcome back to Learning Left-Handed. We are on episode 28, everybody. And as always, since it's our third season, we'll be having 3-parters for the rest of the season. Start off something a bit different today. We're going to start off with robust dialogue, aka things that really basically just says how it is. Very difficult to get into for most companies to understand, because really most companies don't face reality very well. They're very constrained, they're very criticised, and only see what they want to see. So, how do we do this robust dialogue, you ask? Well, that's a very good question. You start off with an open mind. So you come into it willing to understand that you are going to be wrong, which is a very difficult thing for a lot of people to do. But they have to try harder for this, because at the end of the day, everyone is wrong at some point, including me. Let's continue on. So, what else? Outside of the open minds, what else do you need? Well, you need to speak candidly. No hiding behind fancy language or anything else. You just say, look, this is what's going to need to be happening, and then you move on from there. Third, you've got to be informal, because that way encourages more dialogue and creates more questions. And when there's more questions, there's more answers and less annoyance and pain, because at the end of the day, most arguments start because of a lack of communication. And what you also need is closure, so that people agree when each person, does very well in which people do certain things wrong. You just got to realise that there is a middle ground, and there's a right way and then there's a wrong way. Those are the 3 options. Continue on. So what does this robust dialogue basically brings out reality. It's open, it's tough, it's focused and informal, as I said before. The aim is to see 2 various viewpoints and question them both, and then add a few new ideas if you thought about it. Okay, now you're going to be asking me, how did we get to this point? Okay, how do we implement robust dialogue in our lives? Easy. You start from the top and you reward performance. So you start saying all the good shit that's happened, and then you say, I would like you to fix this. If someone says something you don't agree with, you say, okay, let's talk about that. And then you discuss it, sort it out, chop the problem up into little answers, and solve it. Make sure you listen to everybody and then make your choice, because everyone deserves a voice. That's my humble opinion anyway. Okay, this has been part 1. I'll join you, something a bit different. For our second point today is going to be something a bit different. Now, I'm not 100% sure all of these work, but my writers have assured me that each of them has worked for them and their parents and the other people they've tried this on. So let's hope it works for you. This is how to slow aging. We're going to give you several points, and hopefully it will all work for you. Okay, first things first, you've got to ditch the sugar, because it dehydrates the collagen and elastin, aka it makes your face sag. So you really don't want the sagginess, do you? Exactly. Second, go gluten free, because gluten spikes the blood sugar levels. Basically, whenever you eat a bit of bread or anything with gluten in it, it just tells your body, damn, that's a lot of sugar. Third, drink more water, because it keeps your skin very hydrated. Honestly, keep doing it. Fourth one, try and reduce stress, because the cortisol just keeps robbing your essential oils and minerals from your skin, which just, isn't brilliant. Next one, load up on antioxidants. You've heard all the stories about antioxidants. You think, why have I got so many oxidants in me? I don't know. Why do you think you have them? I don't know, Bill. But yeah, I've been trying to get these antioxidants. They've been seeming to work very well for me. Most berries have them, especially blueberries. And basically it lowers the free radicals in your body. It just keeps you going a little bit faster. Eat more protein. Someone once told me you should have 1 gram of protein for every pound you weigh every single day. Try and do that, because it's essential for repairing and constructing tissue, and controls your cortisol, because everyone knows that cortisol can't be controlled very easily. Lift weights. It's great for tightening skin, and it burns more calories, and everyone could do with burning a few more calories, can't they? You agree with that? Use natural beauty remedies. Now this is sort of a catch-all term, because we had 15 different things. But yeah, the natural beauty remedies have been working for thousands of years, and if they work for you, brilliant. Use them. Send us in the ones that you love the most. Alright, we've got 2 more for this part, which is get more sleep. Big surprise this is on this list, eh? Because apparently it can cause a lot of hormonal difficulties if not managed well. Big surprise there. And finally, eat more good fat. I'm saying you get the avocados, you get some fish, you get some olive oil. I'm sure there's some amazing dishes you can make just with those 3 ingredients alone. Boom. Try it, love it, live it. Anyway, this has been the end of our second part 3, coming up now. And finally today, our third and final part, it is the ever popular, the TikTok series that has taken the podcast world by storm. Here's the next one. Okay, today is going to be more or less side hustles, but there will be a few other bits and pieces in there as well. So, hope you got your pens ready. First side hustle I need to look at is clickbank.com. There is loads of side hustles, but honestly, try that one. After that, and let's continue. The next side hustle we can talk about is more print on demand. You can do this more or less anywhere. Lots of people have been putting stuff on Etsy, people can put it on Amazon. You can really put it anywhere online. I don't think many people are doing it on eBay, so maybe you guys can try that out. Keep your eyes peeled. Okay, and now we have one that has just come in, literally just come across my desk, that just says all of the side hustle, different types of side hustles. You can learn all of them. You just got to go to side hustle stock, and you'll learn all the side hustles. All of them are there apparently. Okay, another different side hustle that a lot of people have been talking to me about lately is drop servicing. Okay, you charge someone a service for £100, but then you sell that job for someone for less. So all you've done is spend 10 minutes finding a nice guy in the Philippines to do the job for you. Highly worth it, and you get money for more or less doing nothing. Only issue with that is you've got to find people that are consistently great, otherwise they will not come back to you. Simple. Okay, next. We've got a useful website. This is for our students out there, or people who just enjoy diagrams. I know some people like making them, but there is this place that was brilliant for drawing diagrams. You just go to app.diagrams.net. It's brilliant. Lots of people have been telling me to try it. I don't have a lot of diagram needs, believe it or not, but I'm sure someone out there does. Next, Why you should bring a notebook and pen to get a job. I'm going to give you 3 reasons right now. So sit down, here they come. First one, it's a power move. It shows that you are capable of pre-thinking. 2, it shows you're not a reactionary person, aka you'll have clarity in response, you have organised thoughts, you think before you speak. 3, it shows you are self-aware. It practices what works best for you when presenting, and it shows you're extremely self-aware. You understand that you cannot remember everything, and instead of pretending that you can, you have some stuff ready and raring to go. And finally today, I'm going to give you a 5-point system of how to lose weight. Okay? Number 1, no beer. Yes, no beer at all. I'm sorry, Germans, no beer. 2, portion control. Okay, get it very small as possible. 3, and now this one's a bit difficult to do because this more happens to you, is have your heart broken. Because, I don't know about you, but after I've been dumped, I generally diet like hell and get myself into better shape, but I don't think that's going to be happening to me anytime soon, but good luck for the rest of you. 4, go to the gym. It's been proven that you should be lifting weights 3 or 4 times a week. It tightens your skin, gets rid of the flabby belly. Honestly, there isn't a reason not to go there. Just make sure you stretch when you warm up and when you warm down, otherwise you'll be stiff as a board. And finally, plan them meals. If you can plan your meals, you know what's coming. You know that maybe on Wednesday you'll have a bit of pasta, so you can do a few more reps. That's all I'm saying. It works for me, it'll work for you. And now I'd like to thank everyone who helped writing this episode this week. It has not been an easy episode to write. We've found some very interesting things. A few arguments have been entailed. But hey, that's the joy of it. I hope you've all enjoyed this week's episode of Learning Left-Handed. Welcome back to Learning Left-Handed. This is episode 29. I can't believe we are still here. You guys are still listening. It's brilliant. Thank you so much for listening every week. Numbers just keep going up. I'm so proud of each and every one of you. I just finished looking at the rankings so far, and for some reason episode 5 is the most looked at. So if after you've finished listening to episode 29, go all the way back to episode 5, see what all the fuss is about. I can assure you it'll be great. Now, as always in this 3rd season, we will have 3 different parts, as I've said 8 times before, and I'll say it another time again. The first one is how to be exceptionally likeable. So you ever see those people in your office that just everyone seems to like and you can't really work out why? Well, one of my writers did this week, and so between the 6 of us, we all looked for reasons why people are exceptionally likeable and how you guys can do it as well. Let's begin. The first one is you need to develop a positive mental attitude. So everything you see in life, you've got to think of the positive out of it. That's basically part 1. And make sure that everybody else can see it. Don't hide it away in a little box. Oh, look, there's my little positive mental attitude box. So we're going to leave it there and let it get some dust in the back of the cupboard. No, open that box, let everybody see it, okay? Second point, always speak in a carefully disciplined tone. Make sure it's a friendly, disciplined tone. The third point, pay close attention to the people who are speaking to you. Don't look away. Try and keep eye contact, because when you keep eye contact, people believe you actually give a damn. So, make sure you talk in a carefully disciplined tone, pay close attention when someone's talking to you, maintain your composure, never get angry outwardly. You can always throw a dart at their face later if that is your way of being patient and relaxed. Next, as I said before, be patient. Patience is something that takes forever to grow, in my opinion. It's like mine personally is like a prickly cactus. I water it every once in a while, it needs growing, that's all I'm saying. Next, keep an open mind. If you go into any conversation with concrete thoughts on the subject, you will come out with an enemy. Okay? So keep an open mind. Next, smile when you're speaking with other people. because people believe that you are interested in what they're saying and will continue talking about it, which makes them feel good. Try and do one good deed a day. Just one. It can be anything from giving a coin to a homeless person, or holding a door for someone, or helping a woman carry her shopping up some steps. Not saying that only women need help. Go and help out anybody. Okay. Find a lesson in failure rather than brood over it. So we've all done stupid things in life, but I want you to pull out a lesson that you've learnt from it. In case, for example, if you drink too much, the lesson coming out of it is you look like a complete idiot, and you must learn not to be a complete idiot by drinking less. Next, listen like it was the most interesting, important thing in the world. Okay, this person means the world to you. The world revolves around this person. Or, as one of our writers like to put it, holding a gun against your forehead. You pay attention to that, wouldn't you? Next, praise others without being excessive, because at the end of the day, people like being complimented, but they don't like being complimented 20 times. It's a little difficult for me to do this one, I admit, but hey, I'm working on it, as should you. And finally, have someone you trust point out your flaws. Not in public, just like off to the side, like say, hey, alright, Lewis, you haven't done this great. I need you to understand that, and we'll change it, and we'll move on from there. Okay, that's been part 1. Part 2 coming up. Let's begin part 2. This is emotional fortitude. Okay, the 4 things that are going to make you feel in control of your emotion at all times. So it doesn't go out, it doesn't explode in some weird corner of your life. No, this will work. It works for me, it'll work for you. Okay, here are the 4 points. I'm going to go quickly through the names. Now I'm going to give you a brief description on each one. Authenticity, self-awareness, self-mastery, and most importantly, humility. Okay, let's start with the first one, authenticity. Make your inner you the same as your outer. Not just a mask, because it builds trust and doesn't cut corners. Okay, you want what you are putting out in the world to be the same as what you feel inside. That way people will believe you more. That is the odds anyway. Secondly, self-awareness. Know yourself. Okay, be comfy with your strengths and not crippled by your shortcomings, your emotional blockers and your downsides. Then I want you to put mechanisms in place to not be crippled by your shortcomings or your emotional blockers or your blind sides. You put those mechanisms in place to help you get it done, so you don't feel so crippled and honestly destroyed by something so trivial. Okay? Thirdly, self-mastery. As the quote goes, when you know yourself, you can master yourself. Keep your ego in check. Take responsibility. Adapt to change, because I'm not going to lie, change isn't a good or bad thing, it simply is a thing. Okay, embrace new ideas, because if you're always stuck in your ways, you'll never grow and evolve as a person. Next, adhere to your standards. Okay, if you say you're going to do it like this, you are going to keep the standard of that thing. You might not do it exactly that way, but you have to keep the standard of that at that point. Okay. And finally, honesty. Because to be honest just keeps the world going, honestly, makes your life a little easier. Be actively curious and encourage debate. If you believe that there is more than one point of view and you can hold more than one point of view at once, you are a genius. And finally, humility. aka be less egotistical. Once you lose your ego, you will be a hell of a lot happier. That is my opinion. Be more realistic about what your problems, and learn to listen. And most importantly, make mistakes, because you learn a heck of a lot more from mistakes than you realise. This has been part 2. Part 3 coming on up. And finally, for our third and final part today, this is going to be the second part of passive income online. This is just going to be some basic ideas of different things you can do online that can make a little bit more money on the side. And honestly, the way bills are going up everywhere, I highly recommend you have at least a couple of these done in the background making you money. First things first is the forever and popular affiliate marketing. There's 3 types of affiliate marketing. There's physical, referrals, and visuals. Right. Well, the physical products, as it says on the tin, you're literally selling something and getting a commission off that. That has been going around forever. But basically, the way that you make this passive is that you promote this product everywhere, you repost it or resend it or whatever you need to do elsewhere. Put it on Pinterest, it's quite popular. That way, all you got to do is leave it up there. Other people will see your stuff. Make sure you have a few followers. It really is the better it is, the more popular you are. With referral programs, it's exactly the same. Except that you're going to get some money for referring them to do something, whether that be a course, go to a gym, try out a shop, try a particular ice cream is the one that's particularly popular at the moment. And finally, visual products. As it says on the tins, products you can see with ease. Same exactly the same way as physical and referral stuff, just you'll be doing visual products, aka things that are digital more often than not. Okay, and our second point today, we'll be talking about software and apps. Now, all of these will require you to code or just how to use Canva. I honestly think people who don't know how to use Canva, well, they really should start learning. It's the simplest tool on the internet for designing more or less anything. Let's begin on software and apps. The first thing we can talk about is business document templates. Okay, if you want to write an email and not sure exactly how to do it, you will need one of these templates. Highly effective, and many people sell them, so it's an active market, admittedly, but if you find a niche that works for you, brilliant, go on there. Secondly, digital photos. There is literal companies who will pay for your photos, not the world, but enough to keep you going. And it's a nice little hobby. If you have a spare hour somewhere, put some of your photos up there, who knows, they might want it. Or you do it the other way around and take a commission. Those people seem to be making more and more money. Now, I don't know anyone who can solely survive off of this, but as I said, that's not the point. The point of this is that you have 6 or 7 of them going on in the background, and then there you go, you can do whatever you need to. Next, Lightroom presets. That's basically saying, well, this will work for this photo, this will work for this photo. You just have some basic ideas. It's almost like a tutorial for people. Highly recommend you do that. 3D models. Loads of people want 3D models, and 3D software is getting cheaper and cheaper by the day. I haven't found a good free one yet, so it's one that's going to take a little bit of money to put in. But what I like to do is, if I make a bit of money where I didn't expect I was, or made a little bit more than I was expected that week, I'll put that money into a program so I can do one of those jobs better. Okay, that way people will think, well, he's professional now, he's got all the good stuff, and still these low prices. We better get in there quick. And finally, the ever popular worksheet. At the end of the day, if people are making 10 quid for 100 of them, and you can literally find them anywhere, why aren't you doing it? You know, use Canva to make a nice cover, put it up, start your own Etsy shop, or put it on Amazon or anywhere else that you can think that is an online store. I'm sure there'll be some equivalent of this for you. Now, that is all I've got to talk about today. Oh yeah, I just had this thing go across my desk. A friend of mine said that it's also great to make your own apps. Now, I suggest you guys do a bit of research into that, or who knows, I might talk about it next week. This has been Learning Left-Handed. Hello everybody, this is Learning Left-Handed. This is our last episode of this season, but don't worry, we'll still be back next week. Okay, let us begin. As with everyone in this series, we will be doing 3 separate parts. Okay, let's begin with our first part, which is defeating fear. I'm going to tell you 10 different things, and all of these are about how you can defeat fear for your daily life. Okay, this is number 1. Do something. Because fear causes inaction, and everyone knows what inaction means, is that you're not doing anything. And honestly, fear loves that. Okay, so I want you to think to yourself, how am I going to stop fear? The first thing you're going to do is something, because even if you just get up and do the tiniest of first steps towards your goal, it is better than doing nothing. Second, make a decision, because indecisions are what fear really lives on, and you really don't want to feed fear any more than you have to. So if you can't think of a solution, I want you to think outside the box. I want you to think, how would a smarter person deal with this? How would Einstein deal with this? How would Hawking deal with this? How would Musk deal with this? Okay? Next, think of the worst thing that could happen and then find a solution. Okay, so I want you to think, you're afraid of learning how to ride a bike, okay? Worst thing that could happen is if you would crash. Do you know what the solution for that would be? Wear a helmet. Less damage, no issues, there you go. You've solved it. That's the worst case scenario. Carry on. Jump on that bike. Number 4. Imagine the best thing and how you'll feel. Alright, let's continue with this example. I want you to feel like you're going 100 miles an hour, going downhill, you're loving it. The wind is in your face, your hair's blowing out the back. You're loving it. Feed on this, because fear feeds on unworthiness. And we all get that feeling every once in a while. So try and not feed it. Number 5. Anything is possible, because fear feeds on the impossibility. So I want you to think to yourself, anything you can think of is possible, and you will be able to do it. Next, I can, because fear feeds on negativity. And as I said before, stop feeding fear. So I want you to think to yourself, instead of I can't, I can. Yes, and you must raise your arm in the air with a raised fist. Said, I can. Okay, number 7, look for truth, because fear feeds on lies. Anyway, look for the truth in everything, and that way you can't have any fear about it. Okay? Number 8, take deep breaths, because fear is going to cause you to hyperventilate. So doing these tiny little short breaths and you're not going to feel good. So take deep breaths. Number 9, embrace mistakes, because fear feeds on perfection. Because no one at the end of the day is perfect. That is the whole point of perfection. Because if it was being able to do it, we would need a new word for it, wouldn't we? And finally, take a step, because fear feeds on waiting. Okay, I'm going to leave that right there for part 1. I hope you've enjoyed it so far. Hope you'll stick around for part 2. Thank you again. And now for part 2. In this part we're going to be talking about how you can improve your brain power. There's going to be several steps to this, okay? And admittedly, some of them are going to cost you some money, because at the end of the day, that is how you improve your brain power. You pay for it, effectively. Okay, let's begin. And the first one, you have to dress to impress. There's been so many studies recently that the people who wear great clothes makes them think a lot more conceptually. And that is one of the first things you're going to have to learn how to do, is to think conceptually. Okay? Second, this is exercise. Do not do this in the suit you've just bought, because of obvious reasons. Second, walk 2 miles a day. It makes your brain ready for more information absorption. What I would recommend is that if you're going on the tube, for example, you get off at the station beforehand and then walk the rest of the way. Okay? Brilliant idea. Next, stop Googling. I want you to use books, because at the end of the day it's a lot more engaging for your brain. Think about it. Makes sense. Number 4, this is something I think everybody should do, is learn a second or third language. At the end of the day, for most of you, you're European listeners, odds are English is your second language anyway, so I'm proud of you all for listening. For the Americans, out there who on average just don't learn a second language, I highly recommend that you do, because it's just it's a very taxing mental exercise, and it just helps, makes that brain just a little bit bigger. Same as doing free weights. Next, eat lots of olives and nuts, because they maintain a very powerful brain. I'd recommend olives that are in the can with anchovies, because the mixture of the oils, honestly, I can tell you the difference between the days I have them and the days I don't. Next one, practice yoga. According to recent studies, it improves memory. Don't ask me how it works, I'm just telling you it does. The penultimate one, good sleep hygiene. Sleep makes new connections between neurons. Sleep is when, weirdly, you get the best ideas. That is why I highly recommend that you go to sleep and next to you have a little notebook and pen, or your phone so you can take notes, audio or typed, so you will always remember these ideas. And finally, stop with the multitasking. It has been proven time and time again since the 50s that it just stops the brain from focusing. Okay? So don't do it. Don't do it for me. Do it for yourself. And this has been Improving Brain Power. Our third part will be coming up in a second.